Keep doing this shit, bro. Alright, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good evening so far. We are here tonight with some more Chaos Head Noah. Another late night stream. And, so yesterday, right before Takumi made it back. What the hell? What? Right before he made it back to his home, his shipping container home, he heard a repeating noise and discovered that there was a corpse that was like basically nailed to a wall, and the person who murdered this guy was a young girl with pink hair, I think. And basically Takumi just ran off as soon as she like noticed him, and she didn't try to follow him or anything, so he was able to escape. But now he's like worried that he is going to be hunted by this girl, and then after that, Takumi's little sister came to his home and checked on him, but Takumi just got like really annoyed, and basically he just like told her he didn't want her there and she should leave, and then she got pissed and took off, and that's where we left off. So I sat down at the computer and moved the mouse a little to wake it up from my Seraton screensaver. Then I took a big swig from the soda bottle on the table, but it was empty.
しまった。これ、ナナミがさっき飲んだやつだ。
Ugh. Oh no. I just had an indirect kiss with my little sister. If Nanami was a little sweeter, it might have been great, like something out of an H game. But with her personality, it just made me feel sick. Oh, okay, so this guy is potentially into little sisters, just not this particular one. I closed the cap on the bottle and threw it into the big garbage bag in the corner of the room. It missed and bounced off the wall, rolling under the bed, but whatever. Now then, time to get back to ESO. Time to forget all the annoying stuff that happened in the real world. But sadly, I was forced to bring my time in Basilar to an end after just a single day. When I left the base early in the morning, my mental state was back in the dumps, and any improvement that I'd felt from my time in the game was gone. Why did I have to go to school?
なんで今日なんだよ。最低最悪だ。
But I couldn't stay home. If I stayed home, it would ruin my whole attendance schedule. Then I wouldn't be able to graduate.
卒業卒業って何を卒業するって言うんだよ。
It was my idea, but still, I couldn't help but complain. When I got to the luxury residences at Shoto, I suddenly realized I'd been feeling someone looking at me the whole time. But it wasn't God's gaze. There wasn't that weird feeling on my neck. Hey, what's up, Ox? How you doing? As I turned the corner, I took a quick look behind me without turning around, and caught a glimpse of a girl in a Suime uniform. Killer girl? Yeah, so yesterday, just before Takumi could return home for the night, he discovered a murder with a corpse nailed to a wall, and apparently the killer was still there, and she was this young girl, and he just ran off as soon as she noticed him. So was it the demon from 2 days ago? Suddenly my heart started to pound. I was so nervous that I started to walk funny. I started to feel like I no longer belonged in the quiet morning around me. I could hear the sound of birds chirping on the power lines, and the faint sound of the morning news from the televisions inside the houses around me. Oh, okay. This didn't feel like a place where any kind of murder could happen, and yet I felt like I was about to have delusions of myself being brutally killed. No, I needed to calm down. I hadn't gotten a clear look at their face, had I? And if they were a Suime student, it was only natural that they'd be following me. They were headed to school, just like I was. Okay, I had an idea. Instead of following the path that led straight towards school, I made a right instead. I fought down the urge to turn around and tried to act as naturally as possible. I kept walking, trying to contain my nervousness, and after a minute, I quietly turned around. Our eyes almost met, and I quickly turned my head forward again. Why was she following me? This wasn't the way to school. Was she actually tailing me? It was a face I didn't recognize. The one thing I could tell for sure, though, was that it wasn't the demon from the other day. This girl had glasses. Well, bro, she could have just put on some glasses this time. That doesn't mean anything. Just knowing that alone made me feel much more relieved. I decided I should just head straight to school. I'd have to cancel my usual morning breakfast, but I didn't have a choice.
くそ、女子 A め。
Girl A? To me, you're just pedestrian number 1, or girl A. No more important than that. So go away. Girl A stopped tailing me and disappeared when I got to the school entrance. She seemed to have somewhere else to go since she headed for the third-year student classrooms. So it's a senior. Maybe I was just imagining her tailing me? but it didn't make sense that she'd follow me down a route that led away from the school. Was she just trying to upset me? Had I done something to make her mad? No, I hadn't. There was no way I could. At this school, I was as invisible as the air. So, what was she after? I somehow made it through an awful day at school, and as always, stopped at Cafe on my way home. Of course, I sat in room 37. Usually the rooms around me were empty, but surprisingly enough, there was somebody in room 36 today. You looked into Pippa. The door to the room was closed. I could see the desk light was turned on inside. I don't know, I've heard that she's kind of straightened up her act more recently, but I don't know. Obviously I don't watch her, so I wouldn't know. I sighed a little as I went into my own room. Having someone next door made it hard to chat. I was the kind of person who always said things out loud when he chatted. Well, whatever. Time to just log into ESO. I just have to be careful not to say anything.
だよこいつら。
I slammed my palm down on the keyboard, annoyed. I've been playing for about 2 hours now. Today was just a stressful day. The pair I'd grouped up with were clearly new players. As always, I stayed in the background, trying to let them have the glory for themselves. But one would always run in ahead of us and die, and then do it again. The other, a mage, refused to use any magic to help us. Our party must have died a dozen times. And then on top of that, all they did was complain in chat. Frickin' idiots. I got so mad I PK'd them, took all their items, and then quickly escaped to another area. Nightheart couldn't do that stuff, but Lisa-Lot could. That was why I came all the way to At Cafe to log in. I felt a little better, so I decided to take a break and go get something to drink. At Cafe had free drinks and a well-stocked soda fountain near the counter. The one problem with room 37 was that it was pretty far from the bar. When I left the room, I saw that the door to room 36 was open. I had to go by it if I was going to get to the soda fountain. I took a quick peek inside as I walked by, and nobody was there. Actually, I realized I'd heard the sound of somebody getting up a moment ago. But there was a bag sitting next to the chair in the room. It was a student's bag. Decorative straps hung from it, stuffed animals dangling at their ends. They were Garo Froggy, the thing Nanami had showed me yesterday. 3 of them, too. Maybe it really was popular. Not that I cared. If I kept staring at it and they came back, they might think I was a stalker or a thief. I decided to forget about it and go get my soda. But when I saw what was showing on their monitor, my eyes went wide. The monitor was displaying the words New Gen Aggregator Site. It was in a really nasty-looking, attention-grabbing font, too. New Gen. I'd been deliberately avoiding looking up anything about it. I didn't want to know the details. That was how I was telling myself that it had nothing to do with me. Anyway, was there a reason the person who just happened to be in the room next to me at a net cafe was looking at a new gen aggregator site? For a moment, I saw the demon girl's face again, and my whole body shivered. I shook my head to drive away the negative thoughts. I was overthinking it. Yeah, I was just being paranoid. New Gen was the media's favorite subject right now, and not a day went by when the TV talk shows weren't discussing it. Everybody was interested in it. That was the only reason. Yeah, it had to be. Time to forget about it and go get my soda. I put my cup under the dispenser and pushed the button for soda. Ice-cold soda came down right into the cup. The sun was setting and it was starting to get crowded. I could see a small line of people waiting at the register. As it got later, more and more people were going to come. In an hour or so, all the rooms around room 37 would be full. That would probably be my cue to go home. I took my cup and went back to my seat. As I walked back, I took a quick glance down the corridor that led to the restrooms. I saw a girl with glasses in a Suimei uniform disappearing down the end of the hall. It was Girl A, the one who'd been following me this morning.
Eh?
Takumi has a stalker. I thought I must have been mistaken, so I hid behind a bookshelf and watched the corridor for a while. But I never saw her again. I must have been imagining it, right? Yeah, I'd only seen her for a second. And there were probably a ton of Suimei girls who used this cafe, a lot of whom probably wore glasses. But what if it was Girl A? What was she doing here? Was it just a coincidence? Or had she followed me? I started to feel scared. I left the cafe and hurried back to the base. I'd gotten too scared to stay. Yeah, the demon girl, that's the girl I was talking about who murdered that person. I wanted to go home as fast as possible, but the streets were crowded with people, and I couldn't move forward as fast as I wanted. I mean, she doesn't look like a demon, she just looks like a normal girl. But oh no, yeah, you saw her on screen. You saw her face, yeah. I was starting to feel sick. I hated crowds. It felt like everyone was laughing at me. The crosswalk turned red, so I had to stop. I took a quick look around. There was no sign of Girl A. As I headed up Dogenzaka Hill, walking got a lot easier. Usually, I chose to take the back streets where there weren't as many people. Does she look that dissimilar? What do you mean? Dissimilar from what? Oh, from Girl A? Yeah, yeah, Girl A looks quite different. So, But after what happened 2 days ago, I decided to take the main streets instead. I came to another red light and looked around again, but there was no sign of Girl A. Maybe the person I'd seen at cafe was someone else after all. I relaxed a little, relieved, and turned around. Yep, there she is. That's Girl A. That's not the killer girl. I took a step back in shock. There, on the other side of the crosswalk, standing with the other pedestrians waiting to cross, was the girl. And her eyes, behind her glasses, were locked dead onto me. Her eyes were intense, as if she was trying to send some kind of message. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. It was like I was paralyzed. Suddenly, her lips moved. She was trying to say something. But the noise from the crowd was so loud I couldn't hear it. I strained my eyes to see what she was saying. Whose eyes are those? My hair stood on end. Impossible. I was imagining things. I didn't know how to read lips. There was no way that was right. I shook my head and forced myself to look away. It was clear that she'd said something, at least. No matter what it was, doing that to a guy she'd never met was creepy as hell. I needed to stay away from her. I needed to run. I needed to run while I could. Run! I forced my timid brain into action and ran as fast as I could. I ran in the opposite direction from her and down a side street I saw. I collided with something and fell on the ground hard, hitting my shoulder. I gasped in agony as pain raced through my whole body. I couldn't tell what had happened. It was all I could do to sit up. When I looked, I saw there was a large scooter in the middle of the street that I'd knocked over. I must have collided with it. I gritted my teeth and tried to force myself to stand up, but I couldn't feel any strength in my legs. I didn't think anything was broken, but...
大丈夫ですか?
Girl A was there. She must have caught up to me at some point. She was looking down on me, worried. What the hell was going on? Who was this woman? My body wouldn't move. I was too scared. I didn't know what to do. It was too late now, but I regretted not taking the train to Shinsen.
怪我してませんか?
Her voice was timid and hesitant. Was she trying to act worried to get me to let my guard down? You're not going to fool me. I won't let any 3D girls fool me.
なんなんだよ。
え?
ついてくるなよ。僕に何の用だ。
I yelled at her. I still couldn't stand up, so I crawled away from her. If I didn't put some distance between us, I was afraid she might pull a knife on me. That terrible sight came back to me again and again, and I kept feeling like it was going to happen to me too. She seemed hurt.
え? えっと、あの、あなたが急に走り出して、様子を見に来たら倒れてたので、心配で。で、でも、今は用事とかあるわけじゃないんですが、あの、その、えっと、
You don't have anything to talk to me about? What does that mean?
じゃあ、なんで付きまとってくるんだ。
えっと、それは、えっと、
She was stammering. It was really suspicious.
私、楠木ゆあって言います。
I hadn't asked, but she introduced herself anyway.
実は、あなたのこと、一目見て、なんとなく存在が気になって、それで、つい。
So you started stalking me? The girl Yua was staring at the ground as she talked.
ごめんなさい。
She bowed. Impossible. That was my honest reaction. Now that I got a clear look at her, this Yua girl was pretty cute. I'll admit that. But that doesn't mean I could believe it. A 3D girl? Interested in me? What kind of H game scenario was that? That had never happened in my entire life. It sounded to me like an obvious lie. Did she think this would make me happy? Especially when she'd been acting like a stalker a moment ago? Maybe if she was 2D it might work, but a 3D girl like that was just a weirdo. Scary. I felt really embarrassed just being here, too. I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. 3D girls were just the worst. Even talking to one made you nervous.
僕は三次元に興味はないよ。
Bro, don't fucking say that to her. Jeez.
いや、め、め、め、
I tried to say something harsh, but hesitated. But I knew if I didn't say it, she'd keep stalking me. I didn't want that.
迷惑だよ。付きまとわないでよ。
すいません。
She looked sad. Did she really feel bad about it, maybe? No, I couldn't let her fool me. I couldn't believe in any 3D person. I only believed in 2D, nothing else. I could trust Seiraton a lot more than I could trust her.
もうついてこないでね。僕帰るから。
Okay, bro. I forced myself to stand up as I stammered out the words. My whole body still hurt, especially my shoulder. I could barely move it, and every so often, I'd feel a dull ache from it. No, I'm pretty sure she's gonna probably be a recurring character. Because I think she's in the intro video. So if the intro shows her, then you know she's like a like a character that appears throughout. Ooh. The pain was making me a little dizzy. I might have hit my head a little when I'd landed. I staggered for a moment, and Yua quickly grabbed my hand.
怪我してるんですね。手貸します。
Well, yeah, no, Zane's not here. If he was, I think he would have said something. It was all I could do not to turn to look at her. I knew my face was bright red. If she saw it, she'd definitely make fun of me. I knocked her hand away violently so that I could turn away from her. My mind was going blank. I almost never had a chance to touch a girl who wasn't a family member. I could feel my heartbeat quickening.
お家まで送ります。あなたが怪我したのは、私が付きまとっちゃったせいですから。だから、送らせてください。
I appreciated her offer. I wasn't used to having anybody be nice to me, and I felt like I might actually fall in love with this 3D girl I'd hated just a moment ago. Wow, this dude is like... This dude is like... He can't even make up his fucking mind. But that didn't mean I had the courage to look straight at her, and anyway, she was a stalker. And she might have something to do with that demon girl too. And I didn't want to die. You ain't seeing these chords? What? So many different thoughts were racing through my head that I didn't know what I felt anymore.
お家どこですか？
深セン。
深セン？
I nodded, and then realized what I'd done. Why the hell did I tell her that? What was I expecting to happen? This was just a delusion anyway. Or even if it wasn't, I would only be happy for a while before it all got ruined at the last second. That's how it always worked out in anime, right? I could feel the death flags popping up by the second. Crap, 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 crap. Now she was up against me, trying to help me walk. I could feel her soft body up against mine. Her hair smelled good. Impossible. No 3D girl would ever be this nice to me.
歩けますか？
I nodded again.
じゃあ、行きましょう。
She sounded nervous, and she was watching my feet as we slowly walked. At this point, I didn't feel like I could refuse or shake her off. Helplessly, I let her tiny body support me as we went. Neither I nor Yua said a word until we got to the building where the base was at. There was no way I could have a real conversation with a girl. Even if I talked about anime or games or figures, a 3D girl would never try to understand. She'd just tell me I was creepy. And from my perspective, there was no point in talking to worthless girls like that.
ここでもういいから。
I whispered, and then watched to see how she reacted. She nodded slightly, and then let go of me. I still staggered a little.
やっぱり、 お部屋までついていきましょうか。
I ignored her and headed for the building's lobby. I say lobby, but it was really just a narrow hallway leading to some elevators. There was a small staircase, and when I tried to go up it, I felt an incredible pain that almost knocked me over.
大丈夫ですか？
She ran over and grabbed me. Damn it. Was she still here?
やっぱり部屋まで送ります。絶対送りますから。
Oh boy. I'm kind of not liking where this is going. For some reason, she seemed really desperate. To be honest, she'd been a big help in getting me this far. My base was on the roof, and to get there, you had to take the elevator to the 8th floor and then go up a steep staircase. I couldn't have done it on my own. Yua didn't look that strong, but she'd done everything she could to help me get up. She'd been supporting me for so long she was out of breath.
こんなところに住んでるんですね。
She looked at the shipping container in shock. I guess to most people, living in a shipping container was really weird.
なんか憧れます。
Bro, what?
アウトローな感じがしていいですよね。こういうのって。
Okay, this girl is really sus now. Bro. I certainly wasn't expecting her to say that. Was she trying to suck up to me? You can't fool me. I'm not letting 3D girls fool me. With her help, I unlocked the padlock and went inside. Whew. I was finally home. What another awful day. I resolved again to never leave my room if I could help it.
真っ暗ですね。電気のスイッチはどこに？
She'd come right inside my room without bothering to ask. Well, I guess it was because she'd been helping me walk this whole time. But still, I didn't really want her seeing the inside of my room. There was a whole shelf of figures and H-game boxes on the bed, and garbage all over the floor.
もういいから、話して。
I waited for her to remove her hand, but she didn't.
床すごく散らかって、じゃなくて、歩きにくいと思うんですけど、絶対危ないです。
Uh-oh, now she's starting to sound like his little sister.
ソファーまで行きましょう。そこで話しますから。
Wait, there's a sofa in there? In the end, I did as she told me. There were CDs and magazines all over the sofa, but she cleared a spot for me to sit down. She was really kind and considerate. Wait, I wasn't going to let her fool me. Not a chance.
平気ですか？
It was just me and her inside the room. The door was still open, and a little bit of moonlight was coming in through it, but the room was mostly pitch black. Schizo is no match for how much of a simp he is. Well, I don't know, man. I guess when you're that isolated from any type of girl like contact with girls, I guess, you know. It was too dark to read the expression on her face, but the fact that I couldn't see her made the sound of Yua's breathing seem almost seductive somehow. I realized that this was the first time I'd let a girl besides my sister into my room, and she was also someone I barely even knew. If this was a game, it would mean she was totally into me. Maybe there'd be a situation where things would keep going, and I'd end up kissing her. Yeah, well. Why is this shit not working now? Fuck. Hmm. Hmm. But that wasn't what I was expecting. Reality was always cruel. It wasn't like 2D, and this girl wasn't normal either. She was a stalker. How long was she going to keep standing there anyway? Now that she'd seen my home, shouldn't she be going? Digital circus. I don't think so. Everyone is losing it over. Oh, wait. I think I've seen like a character from that or something. I don't even know what it is. Is it a game? I haven't even like looked into it. Then I realized, was she waiting to get me alone so she could do something horrible to me?
明かりのスイッチは。
えっと、パソコンの。
Yeah, yeah, it's like somebody in a jester outfit, yeah.
パソコン？
The only light in this room was the desk light next to the computer. I tried to tell her that, but I couldn't.
あ、そうか。あのデスクライトですね。
う、うん。
She carefully dodged around the garbage on the floor as she walked over to the computer desk and turned on the light. The room was finally freed from the darkness. And she said, Passacon? Wait, what? When it was dark, the fact that I couldn't see made me imagine all kinds of different delusions. But being able to see her wasn't much better. I felt twice as embarrassed as before. I fell dead silent and quickly turned my face down. Her sudden gasp startled me. I looked and saw she was looking at the figure of Seraton next to my computer monitor.
これって、プラチューのセイラちゃんですよね。
てるの？
はい。ブラッチュは大好きで毎週見てます。
へえ。
セイラちゃんがお好きなんですね。私もヒロインの中では彼女が一番好きなんですよ。衣装も可愛いですし。
There was a note of happiness in her voice. She seemed like she was telling the truth. That was surprising. Was Yua a
不女子。
Fujoshi? Girls who enjoy games. Yeah, about love between two or more men. Yeah.
あ、うん。
She was just an anime fan, I guess.
あれ、フィギュアって言うんですよね。ちょっと見せてもらってもいいですか？あ、すみません。ずうずうしいこと言っちゃって。もう帰った方がいいですよね。
Hmm. She started to bow apologetically.
見ていいよ。
I didn't mind it when somebody complimented my wife. I guess I could be a little nice to her.
本当ですか？ありがとうございます。
She picked up Seira and began to examine her.
それは山陽堂版の覚醒前バージョンなんだ。セーラフィギュアはいくつか種類が出てるけど、最初に出たやつ。
へえ。
あんまりクオリティは高くないよ。顔とか微妙に崩れてるし、ポーズも平凡すぎてあんまりエロくないし。
Well, then why'd you get it, dude?
でも服の胸元部分をキャストオフできるのは今のところそれだけなんだ。
I should have figured. Yeah, he likes seeing the titties.
胸元？
ちなみに僕はセーラフィギュアは4種類全部揃えてるよ。そっちの棚に制服バージョンとメイドバージョン、あと水着バージョンがある。
そんなに種類が。すごいですね。
一番評価が高いのはメイドバージョンなんだけど、個人的には水着バージョンも悪くないよ。
そうなんですか。見てみたいですね。でもちょっと暗くて。
もうすぐアルファから待望の覚醒後バージョンが出るんだけど、これはかなりクオリティ高そうなんだ。キャストオフも胸元だけじゃなくてほぼ全身可能だっていうし、表情もポーズも質感も言うことなしだね。
Well, there you go, man.
あとはカラーさえバッチリなら今年発売されたフィギュアの中でも MVP 候補だよ。
アルファ？
メーカーだよ、フィギュアの。
You know, I have some anime figures. Don't you? Or I don't know. I might not have told you. But yes, I do have some anime figures myself.
ああ、なるほど。
Probably not as many as this guy, but suddenly I gasped. I realized that I'd talked way too much. Oh, look, I think that's Saber there. Well, you can't. Sorry, you can't see my mouse. But yeah, he looks like he has a saber figure. And about anime figures, too. You want to show them? Not right now. Maybe some other time. I also had the feeling I'd said all kinds of really embarrassing things about taking off clothes or sexy poses, too. I wanted to see what the expression on her face was, but I didn't have the courage. She was probably looking at me like I was a piece of human garbage. My heart was pounding fast as I tried to look away.
あの、
When she said my name, I turned to face her before I'd realized what I'd done. The look of disgust and contempt I expected, it wasn't there.
さっき言っていた戦闘バージョンとかメイドバージョンも見せてもらっていいですか？
うん。そっちの棚に。
Yeah, my favorite figure I have is probably the Mona from Genshin Impact. That one's a really good figure. I didn't know how to react. She was smiling and looking like she was having a great time.
わあ、すごいですね。こんなにたくさん。
As she stared at the shelf of figures, her eyes were smiling brightly. I couldn't believe that a 3D girl could look at these and not be freaked out. Was the world a bigger place than I thought it was?
メイドセイラちゃんってこれですね。ふむふむ。アニメの印象とはちょっと違うけど、すごく可愛いです。下着までちゃんと作り込んであるんだ。こういうの実物で見たのは初めてですけど、いいですね。私も買ってみようかな。
A bunch of effort in the underwear. Well, we know what kind of maid figure this is then. It's at least one where you can see up the skirt.
だったら覚醒後バージョンを予約した方がいいよ。あれは絶対おすすめだから。
It's gonna be awesome. Well, you don't really know that until the figure actually releases.
そうですね。あなたの話を聞いていたら、その覚醒後バージョンは本気で欲しくなりました。
I mean, the figures are always gonna look amazing in like the pre-release pictures that they put out. But yeah, until you actually get your hands on it, you're just not gonna know.
覚醒後って12話のあのシーンのことですよね。
Yeah. I mean, luckily for me, I haven't really got a bad figure before. I mean, obviously I got like lower quality figures, but they were cheaper, so I was expecting them to be, lower quality, so.
よく知ってますな、お主。かなりのマニアですな。
はい、好きですから。特にあの時の覚醒シーンは毎日録画したものを見返してます。
あのシーンって演出と作画宮地なんだ。だからクオリティ高くて当然。
宮地？
Bro, your rabbit ate your posters? What the fuck?
そういう神クリエイターがいるんだ。あの人の演出はマジで神だよ。アットちゃんの実況版でも神来たってなるし。
そうなんですか。すごく知識が豊富なんですね。私、スタッフが誰かなんてまるで気にしてませんでした。
監督と演出と脚本はチェックしとくといいよ。特に新作なんかはそれを調べるだけで内容の良し悪しが大体予測できるし。
わかりました。今度からそうしてみますね。
She was still smiling at me with her pretty smile.
あ
A girl smiling at me. I thought that only happened in H games, but now it was happening to me. But whenever 3D girls, especially my little sister, were smiling at me, it's because they were making fun of me. She was up to something. I knew it. I couldn't forget Seiraton's words. Don't believe anybody. Don't listen to anything anyone says.
え
I mean, I don't know. At this point, it's like, you don't have to believe this girl. Just have a fucking conversation with her. I mean, you know?
こんなこと聞いていいかどうかわからないんですけど。
何
Ugh. She started to fidget a little. She was looking down at the ground and avoiding looking me in the eye.
聞かせてもらってもいいでしょうか。あなたのお名前。
名前
I realized that she'd introduced herself, but I hadn't.
西条匠
Suddenly, I felt embarrassed. The words came out quiet and soft.
西条匠くんですね。何年生？
あ2年
私は3年。私の方が年上さんですね。
Oh no. That moe pose was enough to almost make me pass out. Was Yua's moe type quiet older girl? She was trying to seduce me. She was dangerous. She was definitely up to something.
それで西条くんにお願いがあるんです。
A request? Don't tell me. Was she going to ask me to give her a Seiraton figure? Bro, why would you think that? You said there would be no romance. Bro, this isn't romance yet. Come on now. Well, she couldn't have it. Nobody could come between me and my wife. I wasn't going to part with Seiraton no matter who asked, no matter how much money they offered. If she wanted her that bad, she could go buy her own. The hell? As I stood there mentally cursing her for daring to try and take my Seiraton, Yua suddenly fell backwards and landed on her butt. She was rubbing her behind, looking a little teary-eyed.
すみません。CD を踏んづけちゃったみたいです。ケース割れたかも。本当にごめんなさい。私、きちんと片付けますから。
いいよ
I just wanted her to go home. What was that request she'd asked about a moment ago anyway? Yua started to pick up the trash and CDs around her feet, even though I just told her not to. She looked so apologetic that I started to feel like I was the bad guy here.
じゃあ、足の踏み場だけでも、確保させてください。すいません。その後でお願い言いますから。
She seemed like a mom as she moved around, cleaning things up. Someone who didn't care about what other people thought and just ran around doing whatever they wanted. Nosy and annoying. In a situation like this, was I supposed to be helping her? And then, as we both reached for the same piece of garbage, our hands would touch, and we would gasp and gaze into each other's eyes. Wait, this wasn't a romantic comedy? No way was I going to help. In the middle of carefully piling up a bunch of magazines, her hands suddenly froze. She was turned away from me, and I couldn't see what she was holding. She seemed really shaken. This was suspicious. I realized that she was in a position to see everything in my room. She might want to steal something. She might even think that there were so many figures I wouldn't notice if she took one. But I would. I knew all of my wives really well. If one disappeared, I'd notice immediately.
フィギュアには触らないでね。
はい。いえ、違うんです。その、ブラチューの同人誌っていうんですか？それが落ちてまして、ちょっと中身を見てみたら。
A blood-toon doujinshi. Oh, that was a naughty one.
すごかったので、びっくりしました。
勝手に見ないでよ。
すいません。
She quickly got back to work, and then, when she'd secured enough room to sit, she turned toward me.
それで、さっき言ったお願いですけど。
Here it was. I gulped as my body tensed up.
さっき言ったフィギュアの予約、一緒に行ってもらえませんか？私、そういうアニメショップみたいなところって今まで行ったことなくて。で、私、なんだかすごくぶしつけなお願いしてますよね。すいません。私のせいで西条くんは怪我をしたのに。
This was dangerous. I needed to be really careful about how I responded. Sure, she and I had the same hobbies. She said she liked Seira too, and she listened to the things I said like she actually cared. For an otaku like me, she was an easy person to talk to. But this was a trap. It had to be. This kind of stuff only happened in H games, not in the real world. I couldn't let the 3D world fool me. Think. What was Yua after?
すいません。今のお願いは忘れてください。私、西条くんがいろいろ話してくれるのが、嬉しくて。
She bowed to me. Most 3D girls were really bossy and arrogant. She was a rare exception. No 3D girl could possibly be this cute and kind. It was all an act. What am I thinking about this? I don't know, I'm still suspicious of her, honestly. I was going to say no. I was going to come out and say it clearly, like a man. She looked up at me, and I could see that her eyes were damp. Was she crying? Because I didn't say anything? Had I made her cry? Please, anything but that. I'd only ever experienced anything like this in video games. My heart was pounding really fast. I even felt guilty. I'd always heard people say that girls use tears as a weapon, but only now did I realize that it was true. To be honest, I didn't know what to do. I just stood there, half stammering. I tried to say I'd go with her, but I couldn't. What if I said yes, and then the next thing she said was, "Don't take me seriously, idiot. You're creepy." I was so scared of the idea that I was struck silent.
無理してくれなくていいです。私のわがままに石城くんを付き合わせるのは良くないですし。
Her eyes were even wetter now. It felt like tears could start pouring from her eyes any second.
行くよ。
言ってもらえるんですか？
I nodded helplessly. It was the only way I could think of to get her to stop crying. The whole thing felt like a setup, but she let out a sigh of relief and then took off her glasses to wipe away her tears.
断られて当然だと思ってたのに。石城くん、ありがとうございます。
She said thanks. I'd managed to keep her from crying, at least. I got lucky, I guess. Whew. Why did this have to be so stressful? You couldn't let your guard down around 3D girls for a minute, damn it.
行くとしたらいつがいいでしょう。
What happened to that sad expression of hers? Now she looked really happy. Maybe she was making it up the whole time. If so, she had a future as an actress.
セイラちゃんの新しいフィギュアはもうすぐ発売なんですよね。
Are you behind, Ox?
うん。きっとすぐに完売しちゃうだろうね。
Yeah, she's gonna go to a shop, apparently.
だったら早めに行った方が良さそうですね。明日とか。
According to my schedule, tomorrow was a school day. This week, I had to go 3 times. Of course, that meant next week I only went twice. Tomorrow is going to be an even worse day than I thought. But Yua looked really excited, and if I told her I'd changed my mind now, she might cry again. Ugh. She had me in her clutches.
わかったよ。
I reluctantly agreed. Yua looked happy. But she couldn't fool me, okay?
西条くんは何組？明日放課後に迎えに行きますよ。
B 組。
2年 B 組ですね。じゃあ授業が終わったら待っててください。
I nodded, hoping I could get her to leave. I was going somewhere with a girl. This wasn't a dream or a delusion, was it? I tried pinching myself. It hurt.
それじゃ長い間お邪魔しちゃってすいませんでした。足もし痛かったらお医者さんに行ってくださいね。
あ、うん。
I sat on the sofa and watched her go. Just before she left, she turned and waved at me.
西条くん、また明日。
また明日だってさ。しかも手を振ったりして。
I felt a grin coming on, but forced myself to stop.
あの女絶対僕に惚れてる。間違いないね。ま、付き合うか付き合わないかは僕に選択肢があるわけだし、あの女を情け容赦なく振ってやるさ。
The fuck?
お前は僕の女にふさわしくない。セイラよりいい女になって出直してこい。まあ、一生無理だけどな。何しろセイラは永遠の17歳だからな。みたいな。
No girl could be better than Seiraton. I picked up the figure and rubbed it against my cheeks. Seiraton looked happy.
おっと、時間か。
Alright.
今のところテストに出るからな。ちゃんとノート書いておけよ。今日はここまで。
Alright. We got 2 viewers. Zane, if that's you, you better speak up right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream now. It is pretty late now. It ain't Zane. It's not his Mo. Oh yeah, he always likes the video. Okay. Alrighty, well, I guess we'll go ahead and stop here for tonight then. Yeah, I've been busy the last 3 days or so, and I got another orchestra performance tomorrow that I have to do, but you loving the visual novel? Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm not gonna render any judgment on it at this point, but we'll see. I think tomorrow I'll finally be able to stream at a more normal time again. So I think we'll do Outer Wilds tomorrow, and then we'll switch over and do some more of this Chaos Head Noah. So, alrighty. Well, oh, the like is you. Okay. I honestly don't even really pay that much attention to the likes. But anyway. Alright. Well, have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. What? It's 2 likes. Bro, if it was him, he would have said something by now. All right. See you tomorrow, man.